This is the Silt Verses Drowned Revelations, I think part 7. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, so we're picking back up. Really excited to have everyone back. And we're in an interesting intersection between assignments. We don't have any active ones because the conspiracy has just taken over one of them, the Dusk Mother being almost captured by the Institute, or at least the skeleton family who's involved in that being captured. And we left off with Merriweather using her move, He of Many Faces, to kind of invoke a new character to bring this character to life. And she rolled really well. And this authority figure within the Institute now is real that she's impersonating. So she's kind of in a position of authority there to maybe take over or influence the operations going on there at the town of Weft. And the other custodians will soon hear about a new assignment. But just to kind of get us back in the flow of these characters, we had a leftover verse to narrate from the Hungering Roots. So I think it'd be cool to start with that. I believe it is each custodian narrates a dream they have of living with all of their needs met. If anyone has any thoughts on that and wants to start us off, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, so I think I can jump in on that one. I also have an outstanding one of my own verses as well, which I will try and work in, which is, and I'll just remind myself of it specifically. The Ashen Circle narrated flashback to a time you perceive death as a peaceful thing. Um, So I think we start off with Bastion's dream, um, and we are in a. Um, it looks like a kind of cottage garden. It's sunny, and probably in summer. Um, there is um, uh, a big table, like a couple of trestle tables, put end on end with a sort of big checkered tablecloth um, laid over them, um, and there are um, children running around, um, and their parents sort of corralling them and laughing and drinking and eating together. Um, and we see an old man who definitely bears a resemblance to a much older Bastion, probably in his 80s or something like that, just sitting, sort of big white beard and a Panama hat perched on his head, just sitting in a deck chair with a glass in his hand. And we see kind of just from behind as he takes a sip, and then his hand drops down to his side, and the glass falls out of it. And then the dream turns on, and it's darker. There's rain falling, and we see the site of a vehicle crash at the side of the road. It's similar, though different to the site we saw in the near the site of the Bow Companion. And Bastion again now looks in this sort of image of himself as much younger, probably in his late teens. And we see a like I said, an unpleasant accident. There's a person lying by the side of the road who's clearly been severely injured in this accident. And Bastion is kind of kneeling down beside them, and then we just see that moment when they transition from the pain and the suffering of the injuries they sustained to just a moment of peace, kind of coming over their face, and they go still.
Oh, thank you. Who else has a verse? I pasted it in properly now. The verse of the inevitable harvest. Each custodian describes a hope or dream they have of someday living in abundance with all their needs met.
I think I'm actually going to take a note from David because I also have another one. I have two, maybe even three. I don't know. I feel like I did one of them. But along with that is the first whispered psalm, which is narrate a flashback to the time the saint touched you directly in the blinding, agonizing grace of recurrence and your miraculous survival, and a flashback to your childhood showing your first direct encounter with a god. Good news, those are the same thing for this guy. Don't worry about it. We're not doing 3 verses. We're doing 2. But I think there we do see this this whispered psalm one first. We see maybe younger Zeph. He could be maybe in his late teens, early 20s. He's one of those people you can't really tell after a certain point. And he's in this industrial building, maybe the one that he's mentioned his father working in. We don't know. We don't see any signs other than a few sort of branded prayer marks on machines from the Saint Electric. One OSHA-esque poster that tells you to watch out for sudden sort of sudden miracles in the massive vats and these electrical wirings that run through everything. And he snuck in. We don't know why, but it is the middle of the night. Almost no one's there. And he's gone in through these tubes and wire. It almost looks like a plumbing area. And he goes deeper and deeper into this factory, following these little prayer marks and something etched beside them, almost like somebody has scratched arrows in on where to go deeper. And he finds this transformer and he touches it. And as he touches it, we see his hand go, and he has branded a prayer mark of the Saint Electric on his own wrist before this. And he touches it, and before he can say anything, it is just this bright, blinding flash, this explosion in smoke and burning flesh. And for a moment, we don't see that. We see him somewhere else, somewhere very far away from here, on a coast. And there's a wind turbine, and it does have her little brand on it, and it's by the house, and everything is quiet and peaceful, and the only thing he can hear is the soft buzz of electricity and the ocean. And then we're back into the factory, and charred flesh runs up his hand and his neck, but he's alive.
To just do a session where you all just make up verses and I can just listen. It's amazing. Who else has one?
I can go. I think maybe we just see for a second Dr. Raymond Quick's house as it is now, and obviously before he got involved in the business that led him to the custodians, Dr. Quick was a wealthy man by Peninsulan standards, and so I think we can imagine this very plush house, lots and lots of glass, an open plan kitchen leading through to a long garden at the bottom, a rather beautiful looking small lake surrounded by reeds. And Dr. Quick made a decent amount of money, but part of that is about politics. And if you want to be a senior consultant in the hospital, you need to play politics. And so a careful eye looking around this house might notice something, and that is that it's been decorated by someone who is putting on a performance. Beautiful modern art hanging from every wall, high mirrors to maximize the sense of space, some interesting exotic statues of gods from faraway lands. All of this stuff has been placed as if to please prospective visitors. And while the books on the bookshelves may be thoroughly read, the very cool jazz that is playing on a very vintage record player is it's a conceit. It's an attempt to conceal the reality of who Dr. Quick is and what he cares about. And I think maybe as we just stare at the monochrome of that, it just gently fades away. And then sun is filtering in through those big windows into the house, and everything has vanished from the walls. All of the frippery that Dr. Quick really has no attachment to at all, that he puts there because he wants to appear normal and personable and interesting, it's vanished. It's a blank house, as blank as he wants it to be. And in the middle of all that nothing, we can just see on the fridge, there are some pinned photographs of two very similar looking men, two twin brothers, their arms around each other at various locations, at meetings, on fishing trips away, memories of a life together pinned up haphazardly upon that fridge. And perhaps just through the open doors, we hear a couple of peals of laughter rising up from the lake where Dr. Quick and his brother might be fishing.
So good. So just leave Merriweather.
I think so. I also have two verses, but I think maybe I'll just do the inevitable harvest for now. So I think this is a literal dream, the kind you have at night. And we see a high-rise apartment, not unlike the one Merriweather grew up in. It's filled with books and old films and music, and we're in a dining room. The table is set for a sumptuous dinner. We see Merriweather sitting there, much as we know her now, blonde and maybe a little too thin, though happier than we've ever seen her. She is elated, at home, with family. And as we zoom out, we see that niece is there beside her, gaunt with bulging eyes, gnawing on a bone. From just out of frame, we see a pair of hands emerge from like the place beside niece. Peas, someone offers, and we continue zooming out, and we see another Merriweather. This one goes by Marilyn, holding a large bowl with the softest hands, and she's all glamour and soft light. And next to her is Mary Ann in glasses with dirt and blood under her fingernails, her anorak covered in dust. Next to her is Rosemary with her back straight, trying not to stain her stark white lab coat with its sewn on Institute insignia. And as we keep panning out, we see that there's a row of empty places. And then right at the end of this long dining table, where all of these Merriweathers are enjoying this meal together, integrated, there's just one more sitting stricken at the head of the table. She's naked, covered in oil. Her mousy brown hair is thick within. There's streaks of pale white showing under the black sludge running down her skin. And she's not eating, not talking, not partaking in all this abundance at all, just watching and slowly being edged out of the frame. A silent audience, a ghost.
Wow. Incredible scenes, everyone. As always. we'll just try to pick up with the game then from there. I'm going to introduce the next assignment, and then maybe before we get the other custodians into the journey phase, we'll come back to Merriweather and kind of pick up there and see what is happening in Weft. So I'm trying to alternate assignments that I wrote and the other folks wrote. So this one is by Mike Martins. You're kind of getting a preview because it's not out yet. I think it's going through edits right now. And I think the name will be the Distortion Punks. Most folks who head up to Camp High Tuck are looking for trouble. I pasted this in the assignment tab, by the way, if you want to read it. If they're not looking for trouble, it's probably going to find them anyway. Unfortunately, there's a mess brewing up there that needs your attention. While the abandoned summer camp still goes by its former name, Camp High Tuck's quaint log cabins have been converted into the headquarters of the Axles of the Leaves at Dawn, or the ALD. Aside from following the false god Leaves at Dawn, the group operates as a drug syndicate, responsible for laminar, an increasingly popular narcotic for pacifying religious sacrifices. Provided with a surreptitious supply of laminar, the government allows the ALD rare freedom from the devotees of a false god. However, the ALD has continuously pushed the edge of permissibility, mostly because of their faith supremacist beliefs, with not discreet rumors that they've even been pecking at licensed faiths. Into this powder keg, a touring punk band called False Fuck arrived a few nights ago. The ALD hosts notoriously raucous concerts in their great hall, a way to recruit able young bodies and to give members a way to let off some steam. Reports claim that False Fuck turned out to be apostles of a nascent god, Distortion's prince. Whatever happened during the band's set was enough to draw the ire of the crowd. Who among our custodians do we think would have gone to underground shows? Who's the most likely? And yes, Mike absolutely said Green Room meets Silt Verses is an inspiration.
This might be a bit of a assumption, but I feel like Merriweather, being somebody who's in the arts, might have. Feel free to correct me, Elle.
Yeah, I could see
I'm
that.
gonna take that. Yeah, that makes sense. So you've gone to underground shows like the ones held at Camp High Tuck, and you have this distinct memory of a performance that felt like it was raising a new god in the moment. What did the performance look, sound, smell, or feel like?
I think it was like roaring thunder, like this localized storm that began to overtake the venue. And by the end of it, everyone was drenched and didn't know whether it was like their evaporated sweat falling back down on them or whether it was real and true rain from nowhere.
That's very cool. Yeah. So what's confirmed is that the gig ended badly, and the ALD imprisoned the surviving members of False Fuck. The powers that be are deeply concerned about the whole situation. Sacrificing the first followers of a rising god could be a potent spark for the Leaves at Dawn and the ALD in advancing its faith supremacist aims. But on the other hand, a wild, unknown god like Distortion's Prince could be particularly vicious when backed into a corner. Either outcome could devastate the government's access to laminar. How powerful are these entities? How close are they to the boiling point? You're being sent in to determine the official stance on whatever's gone down and whatever's going to happen next. So you have three options for how to resolve this, and these are very much pushing you to kind of take sides. So the first question is, what are the ALD's plans for False Fuck, and why should they be encouraged? You can resolve the assignment by clearing the ALD of government attention, and you will take a, it's either a move or a condition. I think it's a move called Turned Cheeks. Or, and that's complexity 4. The next one is complexity 6. What really happened at the concert, and why was Distortion's Prince in the right? So that approach is to resolve the assignment by releasing the band. And then finally, why has the ALD grown too powerful to ignore? Complexity 8. Resolve the assignment by destroying an entity known as Old Naughty, which we'll get to, and Naughty as in knots in a tree. Destroy Old Naughty and chase out the ALD, and you gain a special move called the Great Relinquisher, which basically gives you a bonus when you resolve assignments by killing gods. So that's always fun. So, I don't remember exactly where the other band members were, so I'm just going to assume you scooped each other up somehow. We'll have you all traveling together on a journey phase. So while I'm thinking about that, let's cut over to Merriweather. And Elle, you kind of have the run of the scene here. I forget, last time I think you rolled a 12 or something, so it's sort of spectacular success. We've described these different agents of the Institute, kind of setting up at I don't remember the name, at the meatpacking plant. Military gear, barricades, that kind of stuff, just taking over operations. And you just kind of informed them, actually, no, that's not how, I'll be the judge of what's happening here. And so, yeah, where do you want to take that scene?
Yeah, I think Merriweather like kind of snaps her fingers at the nearest of these agents or guards, and she says, You're gonna give me the tour of the facility. I want to see every nook and cranny. And I will be reporting back to you know who.
Looks even more uncomfortable because you get the impression he doesn't know who that is, and he is now wondering what that could mean. Goes, yes, ma'am, of course, I will. We've almost finished setting up our perimeters. We're just lining everything up before nightfall, and things should be in order, but I'm just going over the checklist right now. And he'll kind of start to show you around, reinforced barbed wire and sort of floodlights. It seems like they were getting ready to maybe surprise the angel and blind it somehow. Some sort of nets and snares and things like that.
Yeah, I think as this little tour begins, Merriweather is like, so remind me again what happens at nightfall. Walk me through it, step by step. I want to know that you know the protocol.
I'm winging this totally. He says, well, we do have, of course, our usual anti-saint, anti-angel protection measures on hand, but as the protocol dictates, the first phase is to kind of, I think he describes some kind of audio that's played, maybe something to kind of draw the angel. He says they're amplifying the sounds of the livestock to make it sound like a especially enticing feast. Then they'll release some of the livestock that are, have not been removed. A lot of them have been removed for sort of quarantine and inspection. And then said once we do sight the angel, all units in the perimeter will, activate their anti-angel equipment. And we've of course doubled up at each station to make sure that there's no risk of failure at any point. Once the angel is captured, and then he kind of trails off.
Of course, and you'll show me where you're keeping these livestock.
Absolutely, and he kind of he gets other staff of the plant to kind of show you into the facility if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely, she'll go in, and I
Yeah.
think she's like kind of keeping her eyes peeled for anything that sort of hints at the Institute's aims, as that might kind of shed some light on where they might be keeping the other skeletons.
Yeah, let's do a roll here, I think. Now, this is not an active assignment, but whatever happens, I will kind of apply it to the Institute. So I think this would be an information move. I
Could
guess
I
with
apply
yeah.
whatever clue I got to my personal assignment?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, let's say focus or presence, however you want to interpret that.
Cool. I think it's probably focus, like keeping up this facade
Yeah, yeah,
while also
yeah.
trying to snoop around.
Sounds good.
Do any of my conditions apply?
Ooh, let's look at those again. Marked by Hopworth Industry. Marked by Hopworth Industries would make sense. Yeah.
That's
Just
fair.
because there's a chance someone might give you a second look.
I was afraid you might say that. I don't even know why I asked.
No, that's it's great.
Okay. And that's a 6.
No. That'll be fun. I think as you're kind of you get, and I don't remember how much you've actually been around Hopworth Industries or how you got that condition. It's just been a while. But I'm going to say as you're going further in, kind of taking this tour, there's sort of like a catwalk over one of these pens, and all sorts of horrible chitterling like sort of cows or sort of pigs are down there. This sort of soldier is saying yes, ma'am, Miss Butcher, or whatever title they would give you at this point. I don't know. And another employee is kind of walking by and looking over the checklist, and then kind of pauses, gives you a strange look, and goes like, "That wait, no, that's not sir, she's the one that we hold on." And he starts alerting someone else, and they say like, "Yeah, you're the ones who were I'm sorry, I'm blanking out on what you actually did here weeks and weeks ago, but there's a confusion like, no, no, no. And they're starting to argue about like, no, no, she's just kind of taking care of the situation here. And then another employee is sort of like, no, I think even with the 6, I think points. And I'm just going to say there's like a printed out, like, be on the alert for this individual poster on the wall. Clearly your face. We'll come back to that.
Cool.
So yeah, I love keeping the horrible livestock angels or whatever pretty vague. The rest of the group, how do you want to say you're traveling especially after the last assignment? Have you picked up a van somewhere or some
Did we mess up our
vehicle?
last van? I feel like, did that happen?
Probably.
I probably messed it up. Certainly at some point messed it up, but I'll hotwire a new one if everybody wants.
Nice, yeah.
Do it.
It's like if nobody stops me, I will.
No, that's what else is that relationship to the saint for if you can't just hotwire things.
If I can't just steal cars, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know any follower of the Saint Electric who hasn't stolen at least one car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Lucas like a lecture. Like, if you subscribe to false faiths, you're gonna end up just like Zeph. Okay, so look at this. This is the Wade right here.
Oh man. Oh right, and Lucas is with of course. Great. I mean, this is this whole character's sort of like origin story. Fell in with this crowd.
Right? This is what's wrong. This is what's gonna be wrong with him. Bastion, you get to meet our new kid.
It's a long story.
He's cool.
Oh man, no, that's good. I'm looking at journey scenes. Yeah, I think we've seen the wire-bitten child earlier on. I think we're going to go the next prompt for the wire-bitten child. And give me a second. Oh, yeah, perfect. So you're driving down the road. At some point, you'd seen poles being erected for the wire-bitten child, connecting these cables and these sacrifices, to set up this high speed, effectively internet, right? But additional poles, sacrifices, and wires have been placed along this stretch of road. Some are densely interconnected by dozens of cables. The wire saints twitch as sparks pass through them, cables protruding from their mouths and veins, eyes gaping skyward. It seems that the first sacrifices weren't sufficient or didn't have their intended effect. So paint the scene, everyone. What unexpected challenges have interfered with the project? And I'm also going to post, there's a recall at time prompt if you want to use that. When were you made to feel like an inconvenience within a system that exploited you? If not every day as a custodian, if there's any other more specific times. Be thinking about that.
I think one of the, if we're doing paint the scene right now, I think one of the things that's interfered with this is this other sort of saint, this plant thing. It actually has grown out of a body that was old and in the ditch. And these you can see the protruding jawbone and these plants sprouting up from it and twisting around the base of these electrical poles and choking the wires out and shorting them.
Yeah, I think as well, in this particular area, there have been, an unprecedented bout of thunderstorms. We kind of see lightning coming down and striking the electric poles and surging along the wires, and obviously, these wires should be well capable of handling merely natural generated electricity, and yet somehow, we see sort of the fuses and the transformers bursting into showers of sparks.
Awesome. I think to add to that, I think there is some remaining bits of evidence that suggests that local followers of a thunder and lightning god, a storm deity, sensing the poles as blasphemy to their god, have come and engaged in a bit of a skirmish here. And maybe not too violent, like there's been a few people quite bloodied and bruised, but the thunder worshippers are now kind of retreating into the woods in the far distance, still shaking their makeshift weapons as they vanish. And obviously the building team are just kind of ice packs to their heads, like bloody hell, as they try and get back to work.
So you all are the three of you are in the journey phase, so you can definitely make the journey move here. I know you have some conditions. Of course, Dr. Quick can't do that in the usual way, but you can do your own personal ritual to find a clue. And also, as we are approaching the next assignment, you could be thinking about if you want to look for anyone in the community that you might need your help, you can kind of do that to clear conditions if you want to use that as well. Yeah, you just, I forget where you've last come from. Again, it's been a while. You're meeting up after the Hungering Roots with all of its explosions, and the Bowered Companion, very spooky woodland adventure.
I feel like we probably go and find, like, maybe pick Bastion up or something, or like that's like we meet somewhere and find him just sort of like walking on the side of the road.
Yeah, I think, just walking down the road with this satchel over his back and just kind of puts his thumb out, and yeah.
And it's just that, like, Bastion? Is that you're hitchhiking? Interesting.
Hi guys, that's convenient. And just like kind of throws his bag in through the window and hops into the car. We'll take a look at Lucas and go, so who's the little man?
Lucas, this is Bastion, another government employee. We're all working together very responsibly to try and help people in local communities, okay? I know Bastion looks a bit like a random hitchhiker, but that's very much not the case.
No, I swear we know this man. Don't worry. He's very nice.
It's always
Very
best
safe.
to it's always best to pick up hitchhikers anyway. You never know what's going to happen when you do.
He's only joking. Bastion, can you put that skull away, please? Out of sight?
Oh, where'd you get that?
See,
Oh,
it's fine.
we found this pit where they've been sacrificing people for years, probably. I don't know quite where this one needs to go yet, but I'll find out soon enough. You can hold it if you want.
It's like, oh, so he absolutely wants to hold it. He's fascinated, and then he's just gonna start pestering you with questions like, "So, how do you know where you're supposed to?" Because some places they don't bury them; they just smash them. I heard there's a place where they just leave them up at the tops of the trees, so like the crows will take them away. But how do you know where the skull wants to go? And just gonna do that incessant, curious child thing the whole drive.
Excellent.
Zeph is just like, see, it's fine. It's enrichment.
I need to make a stop along this road. If you could just, keep an eye on him for a little while and so he doesn't get recruited into a death cult, that would be ideal.
I'll do my best. Where do you need to stop? What do you possibly have to do?
I just need to go and see someone.
You're so
Family.
mysterious. All right. Direct me. Whatever. I'll make sure no one gets recruited into a death cult more than we already are.
I shouldn't need to say this, but thank you.
Yeah, Zeph will drive you wherever you ask, if begrudging that he's not getting more info because he's nosy, but knows better at this point. with Dr. Quick.
Excellent. I obviously will direct towards the location of my personal ritual, which is a storage container just off the road, a little bit way out of town.
Amazing. Oh my god. Yeah. We'll
that's
pop
great.
over at a storage container. And Zeph is like, are you positive someone live here?
Like I said, family business. Come on. We don't need to share everything, okay? Work colleagues, we can maintain a respectful distance. I think that's healthy. As he looks back at Bastion sharing the skull with Lucas, it's very healthy to maintain a respectful distance. So I'll catch up with you at the next junction, okay?
All right, don't lag too far behind. You might end up hitchhiking like Bastion.
I mean, we could even just say you're having your journey move while you're waiting for whatever Dr. Quick is up to in
Oh,
this
that's fun.
sketchy,
We'll
storage
drive
unit.
a little further up to give you the
Yeah.
semblance of privacy, like at an
Yeah.
abandoned gas
Go around the
station
corner.
or something.
And then reverse
Yeah.
back.
just drive back all the way backwards. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, and I think as we kind of pull to a stop, Bastion is going to turn to Lucas and say, "Do you want to go and stretch your legs? I don't know about you, but I hate being cooped up in a car for too long. Maybe we can find a tree to climb or something."
It's like, oh, so we are going to put the skull at the top of the tree. I can climb. I can probably climb higher than you because I'm smaller and I won't break the branches. It's already trying to problem solve this for
He's
you.
very good at climbing. I have to give him that.
That's a great idea. We'll find the tallest tree we can. You see how high up you can get and put that skull there. I'll come with you.
Excellent.
So much for not getting the kid recruited. I've instantly given up on it.
Question, because I may have lost track for Bastion. Were there remaining tasks from the maiden to do?
I still have I believe I still have the spirit of living polymer hanging around, waiting to be settled.
I just was making sure if this was actually some kind of if you did want to do some kind of burial ritual with this skull, count towards that. We could figure that out.
Yeah, that's maybe an idea. I think maybe as we see Bastion pass the skull to Lucas, maybe there's just like we just see kind of a almost like it looks like a worm sort of slithering around inside the eye sockets of the skull, but it's kind of a trail of like oil and plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, that's really cool. So I'm going to cut over to Merriweather shortly here, but just to establish this journey scene, because it sounds like you've all suddenly split up. So technically, you can still do the journey move as like a solo thing. So I think Zeph, now you're just like alone in the van. Is there, and you do have 3 conditions. Is there like a personal
God,
ritual of
Jesus.
yours that you might want to do?
Yeah, I think I need to clear some conditions, and I think I don't want to climb a tree. Personally, I don't think Zeph is a tree climber. And my personal ritual is actually scanning the radio, so that works out really well being in the van. Um,
Mhm.
Trying to get directions from the Saint Electric, but also like trying to, I think, reconnect with her as a god because of all of this like nature bullshit I've had to do. Like, this is very not my wheelhouse. And now
Mhm.
we're in the woods again, and there's like fucking tree burials going on, and I don't know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this is a desperate attempt to try to get myself back on track.
I think there's even a commercial for the Scene Electric. It's talking about like, are you, it's, I think because this is a rural area, it's just kind of saying like, are you tired of your, generators giving out? Well, have you considered, installing a backyard sacrificial conduit? And there's the sounds of, horrible tortured, electric shocks going on and stuff. And it's like, with just an installation, one-time installation of provided by the church electric you know hallowed sacrificial unit. You can provide power for your whole family and maybe even for your next door neighbors. Um,
Astounding. Astounding. I think it's very
does that
soothing. I'm like, yes, this is. I'm like these poor hicks.
things are right with the world. What condition do you want to clear?
I think maybe pursued would make sense because of
Cool.
the lack of active assignments, or
Yeah, makes
outsider, one
sense.
of the two. But I think pursued might.
Okay.
I'll leave that one up to you. Which one do you think would be more appropriate, considering the nature of
That was pursued by a specific person or group, right?
that sound? I
I
think
think.
yes, that was when I left Weft, like
Yeah.
hauling ass. So it
Yeah.
may or may not be appropriate to clear. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's been long enough. Well, it's up to you. Let's cut over to Merriweather, and then we'll kind of get back to the Doctor and to Bastion with their journey scene. So Merriweather, with the 6, you've been spotted. It's that just obvious thing where like your face is on a recently printed poster for some reason, and your facade is going to completely fall apart unless you want to write a verse here.
Remind me what her like direct surroundings are like. You said she's on like a metal bridge over the chitterling livestock pens.
Yeah, it's like inside the compound, and we can kind of add on if we're looking further out, but basically there's probably a couple different like paths this sort of catwalk takes, some different like
Mhm.
doors.
Is there a way
Yeah.
down?
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's definitely like a ladder here or there.
Yeah, then I think in this moment of, her cover being blown, um, there's like, a sting of music from somewhere. Um, and Merriweather goes to her belt and pulls out her plastic prop gun and like levies it at the agents of the Institute in her immediate area. She's like, okay, you guys are a lot smarter than I thought you were. That's my fault. But this is not the scene where you capture me. And as she's saying this, she's like backing toward the stairs
Mhm.
down to the pens.
Is this a move that you're firing off?
No, it's just some nonsense I'm doing.
Oh, sure. No, great. Oh yeah. Um, and I think they're kind of weird because you said it's like is it like a prop gun or whatever? Um, I think some nonsense. Yeah, I think they look a little bit like wary of like, oh, where exactly are you going? These stairs going down towards like the livestock pen and other parts of the facility. I think one of them starts speaking, or the one who was with you is like frantically speaking into like his little um like walkie-talkie. It's like going to need immediate backup here. We have an infiltrator. And you hear like static and voices back and forth, and they're like sound of running feet and reinforcements showing up and that kind of thing. He seems reluctant to pursue you, but he's kind of like ready to do what he has to.
Y-
Yeah.
yeah, I think well, what Merriweather is going to do is
Mm.
once she's put some distance between her and the agent, she's going to like break into a run and like, skitter down these like middle stairs toward the pens. And I'm imagining there's some kind of like electrical, you know, lock, something that's, that
Hmm.
she can manipulate that's keeping them in.
Sure.
Um, and she's going to try to release the livestock as a distraction while she
Oh,
tries to
fun.
get out of the facility.
I'm going to say that actually, you realize as you're kind of running through, like, this is a very poorly maintained facility. And maybe if it used to be an electric lock, it's not working. It's just sort of been like someone's like, um, not even locked, but like wrapped some rope or a loose chain just to keep it shut enough so you can easily open that. The danger is that you're just near all of these questionable livestock. um, Affected by whatever is being fed to them. So that I think will still be the risk here of just them overrunning you potentially. Let's say it's the veiled move. Um, what could go wrong here?
Um, Merriweather is caught in a stampede of these animals,
Sure.
and is either harmed that way or, captured by the Institute.
Yeah, sounds fair. I think this would be a roll with uh vitality or insight if you're um kind of being strategic and looking at the best timing and best escape route here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna use prop work here.
Mhm.
I think like on the barricade, there's like like a strange looking little whistle, um, that perhaps the agents of the Institute use just in case the animals get out of control. It's like it emits a sound that they hate. It's like
Nice.
kind of like a dog whistle sort of thing.
Mhm.
That is designed to, keep them away from the person who is whistling.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, she'll grab that, and as soon as like she's able to kind of wrench the gate open, she's
Mhm.
blowing on that. Um,
Nice. Yeah.
so I think that gets me advantage.
Mhm.
All right, it's a 9 on the dice, and what stat was I rolling with?
Oh, I was saying either vitality or insight.
Let's do. Well, insight will get me a 10, so let's do that
Okay,
one.
nice. Alrighty. Yeah. They kind of scatter or at least give you enough of a berth to just like open this gate. And as soon as you're clear, or however you kind of you could probably run to the other side of this pen and kind of blow it again and drive them unleash chaos, and you hear a panic sound of other um, or compound, warehouse staff who have just been kind of under orders some of these like occupying soldiers, everyone frantically trying to organize themselves, and failing miserably, squealing, gnashing, kind of growling of these different beasts, breaking into other barriers and equipment. And you will just say with that, you're able to break out of the facility unnoticed. So we'll come back to Merriweather here. Who wants to do their other journey scene next? Dr. Quick or Bastion?
Yeah, no, sure. I'm good to go. So yeah, I think we kind of see Bastion and Lucas are kind of like halfway up a tree. They're both kind of currently sitting on branches. Bastion is Bastion is holding the skull again, and he's clearly carving it with like an awl, to carving some design or other into the sort of the crown, I guess, of the skull. And he kind of looks up to where Lucas is and says, "What else do you think I should carve on here?"
Sorry, could you repeat what you saw carved? I was thinking about this whole scene.
Oh yeah, no, he says, "What else should I carve on here?" I didn't specify like specifically what he's carved on already. Yeah, no, so.
I think he says, what about some waves? What I hear, I've never seen the ocean, but I hear it's just endless waves. I think that would be, sounds really peaceful. And just a question to you, Bastion, just because of who you are, how can you tell, even though this kid is pretty cheerful, you can tell that this child has seen death, has been around some kind of grisly death or other?
Yeah. I think on the one hand, there's just that kind of, I think, passing assumption that most people probably have at some point. But I think beyond that, is the fact it's the way he is around the remains. And I think, like in his last statement, there's that mixture of, it's more a mixture of like fascination and but mixed with respect, rather than there's less of the kind of, maybe both less disgust and less titillation, I suppose, is the best way of putting it, than there might be with another kid sort of in this sort of circumstance. I think there's a sort of that feeling of that weight of understanding, I think, from Lucas. And I think as he's carving the sort of the waves into this skull, he says, "Yeah, that's cool. It's I've only I've been out a little. I've never been like far out into the sea. I've heard it's really cool out there. But yeah, this that sounds good. That sounds good." And I think he finishes off the carving and says, "Perfect." Kind of like holds it up for Lucas to look at and say, it's always the important thing to remember is you never quite know if a decision you make is a good one until after you've done it. And I think we've done pretty well here." And he's going to toss the skull up to Lucas to catch, and then kind of gesture for him to kind of go up the tree to plant it, sort of thing. And I think as he does, we get another flashback to Bastion and Bastion and his brother, they're like in a field. Again, they're sort of probably kids of a similar age to Lucas, and they're like tossing like potatoes across the field at each other and dodging them, as their sort of family are kind of digging rows in the hole, and they're scolded by by their parents for messing around when they should be working.
Love that scene. Yeah, he's kind of like sets it up there and kind of asking, making sure it's set in the right way, or and then once that's done, he will climb back down. I haven't looked at the Cairn Maiden sheet for a while, so I don't remember exactly what that does for you once you complete a task.
I think I get to clear a mark on my is it fate?
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting the terminology off the top of my head.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, fate, that's right.
Awesome.
And I'll also as a result of that move, I'm also going to clear my Ghosts of Living Polymer
perfect
condition.
Yeah. Wonderful. Meanwhile, in the storage unit, what is Dr. Quick up to?
Sure, I think we see he just pulls that rattling garage door open and then just carefully sets down 2 bottles of beer, one in front of himself as he sits cross-legged, one in front of the rather large trunk, and then just with a sigh, he pulls the door of the trunk open, and for the first time, we get a really good look at Dr. Quick's twin brother Edmund as he is now. No longer human. Arguably, this is what a saint of the pox martyr looks like. A body that has been broken and infused with disease every day for years and for decades. A body that is filled to the bursting with all of the most agonizing, repellent things that can happen to something that lives and goes on living. The boils just pocking the ruined face, the disfigurement of car accidents and knife wounds, illnesses that strike down the young and the old alike. And as we gaze at that wreck of a creature, we just hear the slow wheezing of Edmund as he looks back at his brother. Raymond just takes a sip of his beer and says, I think I need to talk to you. A very long time ago, you made me promise something, and at the time I respected you and I loved you more than anything for being willing to do that, but I don't think I understood just what you were asking me to do. The weight of it, the cruelty, what I was sacrificing in seeing you like this. So I want to ask you something. I want to beg you because I think it's time. I want this to end. I'm not going to give you any more of what I'm suffering, any more of other people's suffering. I'm not going to pass any more on to you. Please, Edmund, I won't end this without asking you, but I'm begging you, let this end, because I can't see you like this anymore, and I know that you are strong and I know that you're brave, but you've taken on enough and you've hurt enough. What do you say? And Edmund just stares back at him, wheezing slowly and raggedly, and then his eyes blink. Once for yes, 2 for no. And Dr. Quigg just sags. You're always bloody obstinate. Sinks back the beer. All right, we'll talk about this again in a little while, but in the meantime, do you know anything about Laminar? So for the personal ritual, the clue, so I think this is the, let me check if you do this, Gabriel, if I do this.
I think you get to stumble on a clue.
Perfect. Okay, my suggested clue is that Dr. Quick and his brother, having spent a lot of time in hospitals, have occasionally seen the effects of overdosing on Laminar, where supposed sacrifices have actually transformed into the sacred servant of another god. So when you OD on Laminar, you become the servant of another god entirely. So I'll leave it open, but obviously it could be a god of peace or of sleep or something, given that it's a pacification tool.
That's cool. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. When you have a chance, if you could put that into the assignment. The clues. Love that. Let's take a short break here. I know we're kind of over where we normally would. And then we will pick up with Merriweather, see where she is at with the trail of Cousin Skeleton, and then have you all arrive at this assignment. So let's take 5. Right. All right, so we're back. Going to pick up with Merriweather, having just slipped out of Hopworth Industries in the town of Weft. And just because this is kind of an improvised little side thing, I'm going to say you find a clue that is counts towards finding Cousin Skeleton. And also maybe this is pointing towards a future assignment. So we'll leave it open-ended, but I just want to weave some things together. So you find, I think in sort of a parking lot, there's a heap of just, it looks like materials and belongings, maybe some of it from the Skeleton Ranch. They've just been like clearing things, throwing things in a pile, and I think stamped in the mud. You see an old hospital bill, kind of like old papers and newspapers, but among them, an old hospital bill stamped with both the mark of the weeping mother in some crimson ink and the silver lining, the smiley face in metallic foil. And it just, you see the name Skeleton on there. We'll leave that open-ended as to what that means, but some kind of old medical records. And Elle, where do you think Merriweather is going to go from here? How are we going to, are you going to pursue Cousin Skeleton, or are you going to try to meet up with the other custodians?
Yeah, I think
Or both, I
Merriweather
guess.
probably wants to pursue the skeletons, but her player and her overlord, want her to meet up with the other
Sure.
characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Merriweather's just like running away from like the yelling and the squealing and the danger, right? And yeah, I think I know how she probably meets up with the others. Could I trigger the new little move that we have from the Bowered Companion? Because I feel like that could be a cool way to like get her into the group.
Yeah, I was gonna say either that or I can do a journey scene, but I don't remember what that does. That sounds interesting.
I think it triggers during a journey scene, so that's perfect.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Do we have that pasted, or would you need me to pull it up?
Yeah, so I can read it aloud. It says, during a journey scene that takes place in the wilderness, you may reveal a hidden path by drawing a prayer mark invoking the Bowered Companion. Ghost lights flicker along the path, and if you follow them, trigger the revelation move. On a hit, you encounter a clue.
So cool. How seamless for what's happening here. Yeah, that sounds great. So, the revelation move here. What? Yeah, and I guess I'll open this to the table because that's fun. What could go wrong here? Like we're playing trophy for a second.
Right. I was like, I felt like I was in Trophy Dark.
Yeah, we'll pitch it. Elle can pick one. How about that?
If
That's
Elle's
fun.
into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was like, I think what could go wrong here is that it could lead you somewhere the Bowered Companion wants you to go and thinks is good, but not somewhere you want to go because of the sort of nebulous nature of gods.
So I was also thinking in a similar line. So I think instead, what's going to go wrong is that you are going to be caught by a stampede of mutant beasts that kind of just trample through the forest behind you and leave you behind them in their wake.
And I'm going to say as a third option that what's going to happen is the forest seems to part before you, and there you see the very strange sight of Bastion at the foot of a tree and a small boy up it. And as all three of you stare at each other, suddenly bowery hands just break up through the autumn leaves all around you, with all three of you in imminent danger.
I think I gotta go with that one. They're all great though. That sounds super fun.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're just counting that as the sort of what could go wrong and how it's worse than that. I think that covers that quite wonderfully. So the revelation move. I think this, I'm just being generous with these today. I feel like this could be focus or communion.
Sure. I mean, my focus is higher, but I do feel like maybe communion fits better. So
Sure.
I'll
Evoking, yeah.
go with that. That's a 6.
No. 6. Yeah, I think just for dramatic effect, I think you're going through it's like as we described these lights along the path and kind of almost everything else grows darker, like the trees grow thicker and it seems like they're just kind of walling you in along this path. And you see almost a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. You see your companions and then these big like branch like hands kind of pick you up and start to nudge you another way. Like that's not, you're not supposed to leave the woods yet, and just drop you into darkness and tangled roots. And who knows if your companions will ever see you leave that forest, because the bowered companion wants you to keep wandering and keep their company. um I'm not saying that that's your character lost, but that's your character just in danger, unless you want to mark a verse again here.
Yeah, I'll mark a verse, I think.
Sounds good. Does it say anything else on the move besides just on a hit?
Um,
Be saying no.
nope,
Just
just
on a
want to
hit
hit
you.
you, encounter a clue, and I presume it's also like a regular journey move where you get to clear a condition.
I left it open to
Yeah,
whatever
it should
people
be the journey
wanted.
phase. Yeah. Gosh, what's interesting there? I think look at your conditions for a second. I just want to go with what's most interesting for us. I think you would, how about, well, I guess no, either of those would apply. I feel like clearing either of those, whatever you think makes sense.
I
But I
feel
think,
like,
sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like with her fleeing Hopworth Industries at the moment and having given them something else to worry about for the short term, maybe I'll clear marked by Hopworth Industries.
Yeah, makes sense. I was just gonna say it. I would love to just get a moment of seeing Merriweather alone on this path and like what makes this like a ritual, a personal ritual for you, however you want to interpret that. Like could
I
be a
th
narration of any kind.
yeah. I think yeah, we see Merriweather running, her breath becoming ragged. We see that she's not really paying attention to like where she's going, just going. And we hear like the yelling and squealing sort of retreating behind her. Um, and I think she's like just on the verge of like stopping to catch her breath when she hears like the voices of her pursuers and just like flashing back to the last time that she was, you know, stranded in a dark wood, without any idea where she's going. She remembers this symbol, this prayer mark of the Bard Companion, and in like kind of desperation, she sort of kneels down on the ground, and with the muzzle of her plastic prop gun, she draws the symbol in the dirt. And then when she looks up, those ghost lights begin to kind of ignite almost, like lanterns lighting the path one by one. And first crawling and then sort of scampering to her feet, she runs following them, and the road sort of illuminates as like alongside her footfalls.
Yeah, and as you emerge, I think you see Bastion climbing down from a tree, followed by a small child also climbing down from a tree. And we'll just say um, you're all able to kind of start to meet back up in that order. I'll pass the scene over to you all to wrap up the journey phase. If you wanted to introduce Lucas or anything like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can just cut and say you're all in the van.
Yeah, I think Bastion will just call out. Oh, hi Merriweather. Glad we met back up again. How have things been? This is Lucas.
There's an institute. They're trying to capture the Dust Mother. They have these the fucked up looking livestock, and oh, that's a child. The livestock were really messed up looking. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that in front of you. Hi.
It's like we put the skull at the top of the tree because that was the place where it wanted to go. It was still a little bit bloody, but Bastion's really good at carving, and I told him that an ocean would be a really peaceful carving to put in the skull, but I think it'll be okay now.
Action, who is this? Was I gone for 9 months? Did you have a child?
No, he's not mine. Well, I mean, I don't think it's Zeph and Dr. Quicks in that way, but they I don't actually know where he came from.
I think he'll see your like fake gun and be like, Zeph showed me how to make bombs. Do you know how to use that? Could you show me how to use that? I've been learning so much. I think I could be a custodian too. The doctor said it's not really reputable or it's not a good path to take, but I don't know. You guys seem pretty cool.
Gosh, I think you might be wrong. I think this is their child.
This is becoming the great awkward family road trip.
I was at this point I was going to have Dr. Quick kind of strides up as if nothing's wrong. Goes, Lucas, you mustn't climb trees. Hello, Merriweather. Where is Zeph? Did Zeph just leave Lucas alone to climb trees? Zeph, explain yourself.
And Zeph like leans his head out of the van, which is way too far away, like for somebody who's supposed to be monitoring this child. He's fine. Bastion had him.
Do you know what happens to children who have low levels of monoamine oxidase A, which for all we know, Lucas might have, and who are neglected? Antisocial personality disorder, Zeph. You are making him a psychopath, okay?
Am I? Oh, come. Are you saying Bastion doesn't count as socialization? And look, Merriweather.
Hi.
When did you get here?
Just now. Long story.
Huh. Okay. Well, glad to see you're alive. That's good. Look, it worked out fine. It worked out. Now he's socializing with 2 people.
Oh, great. I'm sorry, Merriweather, I caught the tail end of something about some mutated livestock. Where have you been precisely?
I'll tell you the whole thing. Maybe let's get the kid to the van. You still have the van, right?
Yeah. Zeph at this point, like as soon as he got yelled at, he walked out and walked. It's a different van, but it's a van, so it's fine. We'll all fit.
And yeah, Merriweather will tell everyone exactly what she was up to on the way to the next assignment.
Man, I don't know how to feel about this kid being brought to this. You're not going to a good place at all.
Oh,
It's gonna
no!
be interesting. He'll be fine.
He's very self-sufficient.
It's time for him to learn to say no to drugs, because that's definitely what we're going to teach him, right?
Yes, this is super what we're gonna teach him, no question.
I think so. At some point, the first location you'll come to here is the Vagabond's General Store. It's on the road along the way to the camp. There are 2 gas pumps, a small A-frame laundromat, and there's a small convenience store in this 2-story cabin. I guess this is, again, still kind of out in the woods, pretty rural. And when you step inside, there's this white linoleum tile, shelves of snack foods, some coolers with beverages and fishing bait, and dusty taxidermy hanging just below the ceiling. Here is a paint the scene question. I'll paste it as well. What best in the world provisions are advertised outside of Vagabonds, but are disappointingly out of stock?
A kind of jerky, and they don't specify what animal it is. It's purposefully left vague, but the entire little row is gone.
I'm imagining a luxury food company that specializes in endangered product. So it is very much, the caviar of a particular kind of fish that is almost extinct.
I think there's a big sign out for Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth Carnival brand corn floss. But as we come inside, there's an out of order sign on the mechanism that creates this.
Lucas is very disappointed by that.
I think there is a barrel that should be full of whiskey. And the little sign next to it, advertising, it says, that's guaranteed no longer to make you go blind.
Even improved. That's everyone, right? Okay. You walk in, or is everyone going to the store? I mean, this is just your chance to kind of stop for some supplies if you want. Is anyone not? But I assume someone will.
I do want to say I am going in, and I'm getting coffee. Do any of you want it? And I offer it to Lucas as well. Regardless, he just gets offered coffee like everyone. Despite Dr. Quick being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, It gets offered to everyone. Shitty gas station coffee, essentially, is what I'm assuming is here.
The owner inside is the name tag says Alma Perez. You can quickly tell she's the owner. She's got thick glasses, permed hair, and kind of has this vibe of like she's seen it all. She just like greets, she's like, "Oh, hello. We're out of a few things. Sorry about that, but I can probably find what you're looking for or an equivalent." Kind of looks at you all like, "So you're probably out this way, hunting, fishing?"
Please tell me someone went with this dumb idiot to go talk to these people, and you did not let him go in alone.
I'm definitely in the shop as well.
Yeah.
And I'll say hunting.
Outing.
Okay, yeah. There's I was gonna say if you were fishing, there's some big trout up the creek. But those woods are plentiful. Just make sure be aware of the borders, make sure if you're going near the camp or if you're trying to go onto those grounds, you'd want to get permission from those folks. Other than that, yeah, any supplies you need, I'll do my best.
Do you know who we would talk to get permission to go on those grounds? Just as a sort of preliminary measure, that way we don't have to worry about it so much.
Well, she kind of looks a little bit cagey about it, like she doesn't want to talk too much about those folks, but she says, well, I mean, hopefully you don't really have to have any sort of formal meeting or anything, but Miss Ashley, Peyton Ashley, kind of runs things around there. I'm sure if you talk to any of the staff, just so they kind of see you and recognize you, so they're not surprised. You just don't want to. I find it's better to just be friendly. Just be friendly around here with folks. Just make sure things are cool with them. You'll be fine.
And where can we find this Peyton Ashley person? Do they
Oh
work
well,
here,
you should go up towards the campgrounds, Camp High Tuck. I would just take that main road. There's a lot of side roads, a little, just make sure you're not. I think she will draw you a rough hand map to make sure you don't accidentally like approach the camp from the wrong side or something like that.
We love this. I didn't have to even roll an information move for this.
I mean, you definitely can.
Yes, I would love to
yeah,
roll
for sure.
an information move to see if I can get any like little
Yeah.
juicy deets out of her. With
let me
Bastion's help.
check just for fun. Do you still have? I think you still have Outsider.
Oh, I still have Outsider.
Yeah.
It's
What?
this is not the person that should be questioning this.
I'm gonna say Outsider will give you disadvantage unless you want to mark something else. And that would be
no, I'm good. I'll
presence, insight.
I could. Oh, okay. It was the same both times.
Nice.
If I'm using, which one would you like me to use, presence or insight?
Let's say presence for this one.
Okay, yeah, that actually tracks, and it is a 0, my friend. But I did get an 8.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Let's see. With an 8. Let's see. These are all very strange and interesting clues. Let me come back to you on the actual clue.
We love this.
Actually, I think there's probably going to be a poster. Oh. I don't know. Actually, instead it'll be a zine. Here we go. I think you notice a zine on the counter. Photocopied zine, which is kind of weird. She kind of seems a little bit cagey about it. I think she sees you notice it, and that's what's a little bit awkward. The cover is of apparently Peyton Ashley. And so this is sort of like the it's like a punk scene with like that black bar over the face and over eyes with the text false fucker. And it's like a band zine looking thing, kind of a jab at the owner of the camp, maybe. And she kind of sees you looking at it and goes like, they have a lot of shows out there, and sometimes they'll just drop off stuff. I mean, she's like, you could take this. Actually, I don't want it. I wasn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think
some artsy. I don't know what this is really. And passes it to you.
he clearly is not of this scene either, and he's like, huh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, who offers it to Bastion? Like, you look like you know about this.
Yeah, I think Bastion will kind of take it and start kind of flicking through the zine, he'll kind of put a 6-pack on the counter and say, can I also get 3 of those hot dogs? And he starts sort of scanning the trucker pills behind the counter, and goes, oh, and a bottle of the perpetual grind, please. Thank you.
That's great. Zeph, I'm gonna give you the condition, not my scene. It's just
Nice.
not matching the
Awesome.
vibe here. Yeah.
God. Awesome.
What are the others doing? Are you also poking around? Are you waiting in the van? Getting directions or something?
I guess the question is, Merriweather, can I trust you to be responsible with Lucas, or shall I stay with him?
Is the doctor asking this in character, or are you asking?
He is indeed.
Okay, yeah. I really, if you have to, sure.
I need to check that they're not actually buying him coffee, because you understand, he's like 10. This is a really bad idea. But you two will get on great. Lucas, please listen to Merriweather. She is in theatre, so an actor. Something for you to talk about. Excuse me. Running in to see Bastion buying some fucking hot dogs.
I
Yeah,
think
no
Nice.
coffee.
as the doctor is leaving the van, he'll hear Merriweather. She climbs into the back seat with Lucas, and she's like, so do you smoke? And then she'll sort of smirk at the doctor if he looks back disapprovingly.
Tell Lucas was getting ready to be like, totally. But no. Anything else anyone wants to do here? We can kind of continue on to the camp.
To flag it, I've got my move where the first time I arrive at an assignment, it turns out that a character remembers me for my service. It doesn't really specify if I can kind of hold that a little bit, because I think that's probably most fun if it turns out that one of the drug peddling fascists actually remembers me.
That is fun. Yeah.
But up to you if you want to dictate where you think it fits.
No, I think it's interesting for you to tell us. For sure. So yeah, we'll cut towards the camp here. Along the road. I'm going to say that. No, the camp Pytuck, you going with this sort of quick napkin directions. You approach it from the front entrance. It's nothing particularly hidden. It's like an old campground that's just sort of been co-opted by this group. The relics of the old summer camp still make up the bulk of the facility's character. You see this log archway welcoming you to a courtyard. There's picnic tables, fire pits. There's some long bunk houses. And in this era of the camp, the ALD sprawls across its former innocence like fungus. There are these phalanxes of racked pickups, with gun racks on them and whatnot. Suspicious looking tarp covered crates and such. They're towering bright tanks, kind of tucked next to certain log cabins. And in the background, on and off, it startles you at first, but you kind of get used to it. You hear this cacophony of target practice, of guns going off. Maybe they've set up a gun range somewhere further on. And as you all pull up, this is very dramatic. I don't know what you see yet, but it's I paint the scene for everyone. Something will grab your attention. A foolhardy government official attempted to break a contract with the ALD this morning. What evidence do you see of the dispute?
How terrible. Can we just, is this sort of gloves off here?
Hey, I mean, it's up to you.
I think their head's on a pike. like right out front. I think like maybe their body, I don't know, but definitely part of them is Vlad the Impaler style warning everyone.
I just had the image of like their tie still being there and just like hanging. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we
Nice.
love it.
I think we see like a kind of, you know, stereotypical like official sedan type car, but it's like it looks like it's been through a war zone. Windscreen shut out, it's scorched, burnt, like bullets through it look like they've been fired from a tank, that sort of thing.
I think out back. So obviously, no government official is going to come alone. So maybe there's a notary where we can hear the firing taking place at the firing range. Maybe there is a notary who's still alive but is kind of strapped to a rotating target, going ah! As the ALD just kind of fires shots around them.
Oh gosh, I was gonna say they were using the official's body for target practice, but that's even better. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think I'm good.
Pretty rough. I think that car, as you've described, is then in the process of being, they've just like hitched it up, and one of these pickups is starting to like pull it away towards some trail just off somewhere to like get rid of it. Um, but there is other things you can see from here. There's kind of a big, looks like the central, like the Great Hall, like a bigger cabin, longhouse kind of building. There's a tool shed, notably. You see a couple people like standing guard near this shed. There's other, um, there's, if you kind of like walk around, just kind of get your bearings. There's camp offices, and see a couple, I guess, ALD members. There's, um, I think the guy you see getting into the truck and pulling away is this hulking man. One arm freshly lobbed off ear, chunky black boots, muddy jeans, denim jacket, and you know, hops in this truck and starts to haul away this car. And then it's eerily silent. Um, well, it's eerily still. There's still the gunshots on and off, but no one seems to really pay much attention initially as you've kind of pulled up. They're just kind of middle of the day. Maybe people are resting, doing target practice. No one really kind of comes up to meet you or anything. Uh, what's your next step here? And also, like with bringing, I'm gonna actually check our safety tabs real quick. You're bringing a child into this horrible place. I assume we're good, but just gonna double check. All right. Think we're okay, but let me know. And again,
I
if you want to like get more of a lay of the land, and I can kind of lay that out a little bit better, let me know what you need.
Yeah, I think well, unless anybody else has volunteered, Zeph is still driving and is just kind of like slow rolling to a stop and kind of looks back at everyone else and just very quietly, so
Well, we don't want to immediately provoke an outbreak of violence, I'm thinking. It would be better if we can at least approach the situation peaceably. So, with that in mind, rather than trying to sneak in, we should make ourselves known as guests, is my thought. What do the others think?
I mean, what kind of guests would these people be expecting?
well, not government officials.
Well,
That one's
government
out.
officials, I suppose.
I can see like the little dude's little name tag. I'm like, no.
Better government officials. We are not here to break contracts, but rather to make amends, perhaps. Negotiate a better deal for them.
And we brought a child with us to do that because
It's take your son to work day.
my God.
He's here as an observer. Alternatively, Lucas just waits in the van a little way down the road and we keep him out of all this. As long as you don't give him any cigarettes. Look of death at Merriweather.
keeps him calm. What can I say?
Be fine. One won't hurt him.
Oh, what do you think, little man? Would you be okay waiting down the road?
He's kind of looking. He's like, this is kind of a boring camp. Where's the playground? Like, is there anything to do here? It's like, he's like listening, like, can we go do some target practice? Looks at your obviously fake gun.
I think we might need to get to know them a little better before we do target practice. Don't, active gun ranges probably aren't safe to just walk on. I'm sure everyone would agree with me here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll hang out with she's nice. I'll hang out with her, I guess. But I don't know. Tell me if you find anything cool. And he'll hang out with
Definitely.
Merriweather. Who's I think if you kind of like start to make your way into the camp, the rest of you, or just kind of walk around, there's other campers. They're kind of just hanging out. No one really seems to react much to you particularly. There's some are like taking a nap in a hammock. There's some like campfires that still have a little bit of smoke going, maybe from last night. A couple people are either still up partying or they're just starting early. There's beer bottles here and there. Someone's raking up some trash from maybe last night.
Quick question. Is Elle, well, not Elle, Merriweather, but also Elle, coming with, I thought we were leaving Lucas in the van by himself to just sort of vibe. I'll
Sure.
keys in the
Even
van,
better.
the AC's on, his favorite music is playing. Like
Oh,
that
got
kind
it.
of
Okay.
situation. Like,
I'm
it's
actually-
fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
Whatever you
okay with staying with Lucas if it means I want to guarantee his safety and well-being. So I'm totally fine with that.
Sure.
We'll tag
Not
we'll
to
tag in
pigeonhole
and out.
Merriweather as the one who takes care of the child, but yeah, sure. Yeah, so who's is anyone kind of approaching so we got the offices, we have that shed that's being guarded. There's the Great Hall. Those are the kind of three main locations from here. And there's you could also go up, just kind of poke around the woods. There's other, see in a distance, there's trails going out to the woods a little bit.
As we kind of make our way towards the perimeter, Bastion's going to crack open another beer and turn to Zeph and Dr. Quick and say, I'll catch you two up. I'm just going to, and he kind of nods towards the remains of the agent on the post.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we completely understand. Zeph, isn't it great that just when we're about to deal with a group of murderous fascist kidnappers, everyone just seems to have other things to be doing with their time. That's just wonderful.
Love it. It's so good. I'm so thrilled. We are all, what a team. What a team.
Teamwork, huh? My thought is that their leader will likely be in the Great Hall. So if we wish to announce ourselves, I think the respectful thing to do would be to start there.
Yes, I think maybe we should announce ourselves. I just keep looking over at the pike. I'm like, this is not worth dying for. No, and just so you know, if it even looks like it a little bit, I'm leaving. And you can come with me. But it is not worth our heads being on a pike.
I'm a little more concerned about what the Bureau might do to us if we fail here. given especially what sounds like it happened with Hopworth, but
Ah,
um,
fair.
I agree. Our safety comes first. Um,
Good.
okay. Shall we?
After you.
I thought you might say that. It's kind of
So you enter the Great Hall. It's it used to be the cafeteria. This big vaulted ceiling spans above this big dirt floor. There's a stone fireplace the size of a house on the far end, and there's a stage built around it using the hall's former floorboards. They've just ripped up the floorboards, built a stage, and there are these stacks of speakers on either end. Some of them are still humming, like a little bit of low feedback. There's broken glass and cigarette butts stomped into the ground, and the smell of wood smoke. For the two of you, paint the scene. How can you tell that concerts in here get out of control a lot?
I think we see like a literally like an amp that has been kicked in.
and I think, in some rough gigs, you might have that wire cage to protect the performers, but you very rarely see one that has bloody barbed wire around it. Very kind of visible, very spiky protection against the crowd has been formed here.
Oh, nice.
A finger's still dangling from one of the barbed wire hooks.
Mm. There is, you see someone ineffectually trying to kind of like put some of this gear back together. There's like some like long greasy hair. You kind of see him hunched over and like there's a spark and like he shocked himself. And just kind of like twitches, looks uncomfortable, and just tosses some other piece of some wrench or something aside, some pliers, and just starts to walk off. Sees you and just says like, "Concert's canceled tonight, obviously. Sorry. You'll have to come back." Starts looking at whatever your dress is. Like if you were here for the show, yeah. And then just kind of awkwardly, it's like shows that normally happen at night. What are you guys doing here?
I look over at Dr. Quick, who I imagine is also looking at me.
Okay. I'll do the talking. I'm going to be honest with you, my friend. We're looking for whoever's in charge here. We understand that there was a bit of a situation that got out of hand. No one's in any trouble. We just want to have a chat, trying to understand what's happened and how we can help.
Well, sure. I mean, what's happened here is they didn't really know their gear here, right? And you kind of see that there's like on the dirt, there's like singed lines, like there's some kind of almost maybe something overheated, some circuits were blown. They never do. Whatever they changed after that sound check, whatever happened, that's on them. And they're not playing here again, I can tell you that. But yeah, if you needed to speak to anyone in charge, you could speak to Miss Ashley in the offices.
In the offices, okay. We'll do that. Thank you. But while we have you, do you mind telling us a bit more about the sound check? So what exactly went wrong?
Well, we have a lot of bands come through, and this one thought they wanted to do something special. I don't know. I don't know how they got everything to fire like that at once, just full on. He kind of points, and you see like more than one amp is just blown out. Before I give more details, so let's do an information move here.
Yes. I want to also, while they're
Yeah.
talking, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to like actively be looking at this equipment.
Oh,
'cause
sure.
I'm
Yeah, that's
so
kind of your thing.
This is my
Yeah.
whole shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
finally, I can do
Yeah.
something useful.
Yeah. Yeah, for Dr. Quick, let's do an information move. Could be insider presence. Sort of taking
I will
stock.
greedily take insight for that
Yeah.
+2, please. That is a 6 and a 2, 8, so 10.
Oh, nice. with, let's see, 10 here. As he's speaking, it's almost that thing where he's just kind of like, and you get the impression this guy he's sort of like the technician, even though it's unclear how effective he is here. He introduces himself as Vince, and he's kind of like rambling on about just like the ins and outs of gear and how concerts usually go, and how no one really knows what they're doing. They have no respect for the equipment and that kind of thing. But while he's speaking, this is your clue. I mentioned some of those speakers had sort of a bit of soft distortion or static, and you kind of, his voice almost fades to the background for a second, and you experience this sourceless reverb, as if there's a cloud in the room, almost like your heart is smothered, just kind of like density of sound, just muffling out everything else, this strange vibration, and then it fades away again. So that's your clue.
So cool.
With the 10, he doesn't seem to, he's just kind of happy to chat about the scene here a little bit, and does seem a bit cagey, though. He doesn't go into more detail. It just kind of seems to act like everyone knows, well, of course the band's not going to be playing here again.
Do you know what happened to the band, by any chance? And maybe I'm not expecting to get an answer, but I do want to keep him talking while Zeph does his examination.
Yeah, he'll kind of be like, well, the band's should probably speak to the boss about that one. We've got them under control. You kind of notice he kind of glances out towards the shed, and then that's about it. Kind of clams up. But Zeph, while they're chatting, let's do an information move for you. I don't think. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's any advantage for your Saint Electric stuff or any moves you want to pull here?
Let's see. I don't think, I could connect a dormant object. I don't think I need to do that right now. I'm going to keep that in my pocket for when I need to kill one of these people, because I think we are going to have
Sure.
to.
Yeah.
So that is, wait, what am I rolling with?
Probably insight.
Oh, that's a 12, buddy.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
With some kind of advantage here. Let me think about that. We'll come back to the 12.
Yes.
Let's cut over to Bastion. You were mentioning
You did.
going to look at that corpse, or the head rather.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Bastion is going to, swig a beer, wander over to the pike with the head on it, and is kind of going to almost casually lean against the pole as he kind of looks over to the head, and kind of in almost like a kind of stage whisper says, I'm here undercover. It looks like it looked like things went wrong for you, agent, but I'm going to need to debrief you now. Tell me what you found out while you were here.
Oh, nice. Is this your move?
Yes, I have.
So cool.
Yeah.
Could you read that one for us?
Yeah, certainly. I have the Maiden's Embrace. You can speak with corpses as if they were side characters, and the dying can communicate with you clearly, no matter their lucidity.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, let's do an information move here with presence.
Sure thing. Do I have anything that would make sense to from my? No, I don't think yet. So I'll just roll and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It does not go well. That is a 4.
before. I think before you have the chance to really hear a response, I think you just hear the clank of a beer bottle. Someone just like kicks one, and a couple other campers are walking up, and they're like, "Hey, you got what you deserve. You stay away from that, uh, unless you want to join him, friend. Haven't seen you here before. What are you doing poking around? Are you you the next government official that's going to try again?" You kind of see them. You notice they're like pretty sketchy looking individuals. At least one has a pistol on their belt, and they're just doing that thing, trying to walk up and hopefully scare you off. They can roll with that, or you can mark a verse.
Oh, that's so tempting. um, yeah, no, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to let it ride.
Sounds
Um,
good.
and I think Bastion um, is just going to again cast another look over to the head and say, "No, man, that's not how I'm going to go out." Um, and I'm just here to watch the show.
One of them just kind of laughs and says, like, "Yeah, there's no show tonight. Might not be for a while. Uh, should have seen it last night though." And and I think instead of well, we're not changing the six, but I think they're just gonna do that thing of like, why don't you come take a look? And they're gonna sort of like walk alongside you and just like you're gonna come with us kind of thing.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Still pretty sketchy vibes. So you're not really sure what their deal is, but they're like,
I will follow them to a second location.
sounds good. Yeah. Love that. Merriweather, what are you up to?
I think she's just like having a chat with Lucas. Um,
Thanks.
she's sort of reclined in the back seat of the van with her shoes off, kind of resting on the seat in front of her. And yeah, I think she turns to him, she's like, "So where is your family?"
Ooh, that's a good question. um, I think Lucas is like, well, I don't know. I mean, it I kind of had a like everyone was kind of my family. And this is Gabriel trying to remember the characters at the Hungering Roots. But I think it's like, well, Miss Patricia would like show me how to make tea sometimes, and uh most of them went away, but that was okay because I had friends before I met you guys, and I mean, you can have whatever kind of family you want, right? That's what matters. He seems like unsure how to talk about this. You get the impression pretty quick. It's a little bit of an orphaned child that's been just kind of like bouncing around on his own a little bit for a while. I think he'll mention sort of having an older sibling at one point, but they went away.
Yeah. Merriweather listens like very intently, like lets him, formulate his experience however is best for him. And she's like, um, it seems like you are really into like what we're doing here. But I just want to warn you, this is a tough job. And also, we're not a family, if that's what you're looking for. Probably best off looking elsewhere.
He kind of like takes this in. He's oh, the chat. The Lucas dads are not happy with this. Because well, I know that I probably have to go back eventually, but I like being on the road with you guys. I like learning things. So I don't know. Maybe I could hang out a little bit longer, and maybe you could come back to visit. I mean, I still didn't learn how to shoot a gun. Um, I've learned so many cool things so quick, and I think you maybe could show some other folks over there like uh, how to where skulls want to go. He's kind of trying to search for justifications here. I want to say just because you're technically in the assignment, but mechanically we could just treat this as another journey move where you could stumble on a clue if you want to. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
whether it's we only have one active assignment, but it could be things you gather from like the region, like other things he's seen or things you observe from the van. So maybe be thinking of that.
Or could it be for her personal assignment?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Since Lucas is like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, and do I get to make up the clue?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fun.
Cool. Yeah,
I
I'll
can
think about that.
suggest them, but I'm always happy to pitch them because yeah, everyone's gonna come up with something cool. Yeah, think about that. We'll come back. And Zeph, you got a 12. So your clue right away, because you're, I think, looking more directly at the, or you're near the stage. Um, I think you just didn't notice it from the entrance to this room, but as you get closer, it's pretty obvious that pools of blood were being washed from the stage.
so cool, very good, safe place.
Very wholesome, yeah.
We'll.
With the 12 though, I think hmm, I could do like a conspiracy thing here, but I think I'm gonna just leave that open for now. I think there's just some cool opportunities for Saint Electric shenanigans here.
All
And
right,
yeah,
whenever.
I think we'll I'll call it this. Maybe we'll say that you are picking up on strange frequencies, and
Okay,
that can be used in the future for advantage on a roll.
I will note
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So just take a note of that somewhere. Noticing that, yeah, they're still chatting. Do you rejoin Dr. Quick? Do
I
anything
think
else?
so to free him
Yeah.
from from the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
That I can tell he is trying to keep up so I can look at shit. Like I'm like just kind
Mhm.
of sidle back over, super cash.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I bet you get some really good base out of these. Oh, do we have to go already? Thank
Oh,
God you came.
yes. It's we're on a tight schedule. I look at an arm without a watch.
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
we're on a tight schedule, unfortunately. But thank you for giving us the little tour.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, come back next time. I mean, tell your friends. Shows get pretty wild around here. It's a
Oh
good
yeah.
time if that's your thing.
Oh
Not tonight though.
yes.
Definitely, definitely.
The
I think.
repair this stuff that's been just smashed. Smash other things, but not the equipment. Starts going on a rant again. Uh,
Skeech out.
yeah, but he's kind of like indicated if you are trying to talk to the boss, you can go towards the office.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good
If
plan.
do we see Bastion being frog marched somewhere?
Yeah,
Oh
do we see
yeah, actually
this?
that's fun. I like that. I think yeah, through another because it's a big hall, maybe there's like a side door, there's some windows, and you definitely see um yeah, Bastion kind of walking, not forcing, but definitely like walking alongside, like, oh yeah, you're coming with us along a trail that is heading into the woods
Oh, we
in
shouldn't
the
have let him
distance.
alone.
It's not a good sign, is it?
Oh, we shouldn't have let him alone.
Do you think we go see Miss Ashley or do we go after him?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to kill him, right? Like that's their MO.
Yeah, but he loves death. I don't
Probably not on himself, though.
it's
Is
a
the
complex
issue.
it's a complex
I don't understand it,
religion.
actually. I really don't
Okay.
understand it.
Okay, let's go. We don't need to tread on his toes. We can apologize if we're treading on his toes, but let's definitely go and see if we can stop them from killing him.
Yeah, like, and if it's fine, if they're cool, then we can just be like, it looked like a fun woods party. It seems like these people have parties in the woods. It's I don't know.
It'll be setting a good example for Lucas because we are a family, right?
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
I know that listen, we're trying to set a good example for him because I don't think anyone else was. And we're being very responsible in the grand scheme. I know you have some issues with some of the choices, but I think it's good for him to be exposed to all of this.
All right. I'm sorry. I've been stressed. You're doing a great job. Okay, that's positive reinforcement.
Yes.
Let's go and stop the fascists from killing Bastion.
Yes, and I pat I pat Dr. Quick on the shoulder like, you're doing fine. You're doing perfectly fine. I know.
Just I worry so much,
I know. Maybe killing some fascists would make you feel better.
Amazing. Are you, so I think they're a little bit ahead of you. Are you trying to like yell, get their attention to interrupt this, or are you just going to follow and kind of see what's going on?
I mean, how far ahead are they? Could we like do that thing where we quick walk up like, oh my god, hey! Like it was that like really awkward, like we're like
you can do
way
that.
far away.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless Dr. Quick stops me. That's what I thought the plan was.
Well, definitely, I think rather than provoking like whatever if they're gonna try and kill him, and we show up, are they gonna go, oh, sorry, I guess we're not going to? I would have said let's trail them a bit and see what happens next. Maybe they'll lead us somewhere interesting and we can get the jump on them. But if Zeph is already like marching ahead to
Oh no, he's not. We're discussing this. Like,
Okay,
unless you
okay.
just didn't give me a plan. Like,
Sure.
I will not just sort of barrel on towards a couple of dudes who I think are gonna murder us.
Sure. Yeah, I
Sounds
think
good.
let's kind of keep our distance, see what happens next, and be ready to help Bastion if we need to.
We got this. We
Nice.
got this.
So you're trailing him. I think Bastion, since you're going along with these wonderful people, you can make an information move with presence. They're just chatting. It's sinister, but they are talking. They are giving information, and then you get the impression they're like, "I'm gonna give you the tour, friend. You're gonna go poking around. I'll show you what this is really about."
No, that's what I'm here for. I mean, when I said I was here for the show, he kind of leans in and says, I mean, I'm here for the show. Where is it that you go to, score around here? But yeah, that is a 7 on my information move. So better that time.
Nice. With the 7, they just laugh like that's the funniest thing. They're like, people come to us. And I think at this point in the chat, you're arriving at a new location. Well, you're getting to the woods, and you see there's quite a large oak tree that they are starting to lead you towards, covered in knots that are like recesses in the tree, like pockets. And you can tell pretty clearly this is like a site where offerings are left to this tree. And there are bodies bound to the various limbs. The wind blows, and there's a gentle rain of ichor falling from the canopy. I'm going to come to the clue in a moment. I think with the 7, I'm just going to say that like finding the clue is going to involve just kind of getting up close and involved in this horrible scene. But paint the scene. Let's just say for everyone, what offering to the leaves at dawn are stashed in the tree's recesses? This is Old Naughty, which sounds funny when you say it, when you spell it out, Naughty, like Knott.
I think that there is someone has cut off, like it's clearly a ring finger from a hand down to the knuckle, and the ring is still on it.
I reckon so. Obviously, Bastion didn't manage to talk to the severed head earlier, and I reckon maybe that is because the government official's tongue is just drooped over the branches.
Nice. I think there is a big empty liquor bottle that is full of blood, with just a little pool of blood around the base of it.
I think that sort of draped on lengths of twine, there are these like strings of old guitar picks from other bands that had passed through the camp.
Oh, so good. That's great. Yeah. They take Bastion up towards the tree, and they're just kind of like standing and kind of watching, looking for a reaction from you, and just saying sort of like, oh, people come to us, and we sort them out one way or another. They never leave the same, and they kind of laugh and say, I think they just like are trying to scare you a little bit, trying to see if you react, they can intimidate you here. And Dr. Quick and Zeph will be able to kind of walk up and take in the scene and join that in a moment. Let's go to Merriweather though. Any thoughts on a clue that you found in your last scene?
Yeah. So I think, yeah, when we cut back to Merriweather, she's like basically just like monologuing at Lucas at this point. And she's saying something like, you know that game at a carnival where there's like a little monkey or something that pops its head out of a hole and you have to, whack it with a mallet? What custodians do, it's like that. We whack monkeys, and there's always another one, and sometimes it's a fascist monkey with a gun, but it's always another monkey. So trust me when I say it's not what you want to do. That's what this job is like. I mean, maybe that's what life is like. It's up to the gods. We're the monkeys. And then she sort of pauses and like turns toward what it would look like to us is that she's like breaking the fourth wall and like looking into the camera, addressing not Lucas but her unseen god. She says, I'll workshop that line. But when she turns, I think she's like looking out of the window, and on like maybe a fence along the road or something, there's the remains of a like tattered flyer. She pauses because she thinks she sees her face on it. Um, and she'll say to Lucas, I need a cigarette. Let's take a little walk. And she'll like walk up to the flyer. And it's advertising a carnival that was maybe passing through somewhere nearby. And the face that she sees on it that looks so much like her own is very clearly actually niece Skelton. And I think that's the clue.
Awesome. Take note of that when you get a chance. And as you're walking out and you're talking about needing a cigarette, you catch a whiff of cigarette smoke from the other side of your van, and you see a figure walking up, casually doing that thing where like they light one cigarette on the stub of one they were just finishing, just chain smoking it, grind the other butt in the dirt. And a very severe looking, I guess we'll say, woman in slacks, this button down shirt, is walking up and just says, I've already got this scene covered. I mean, if there was a crime scene to solve, I'd be investigating it. I'm not investigating anything, so must not be any crime to solve here. And you know, just because a gaggle of custodians is coming up here with their corkboard conspiracies, their van full of god parts or whatever it is you all do, doesn't change the facts. You can go home. We don't need you here. And is gonna gonna confront you there, standing there. Absolutely, a competent and upstanding agent of the law.
Well, who says we're custodians? I'm a single mother with a nicotine habit.
Oh, nice. Do you want to trigger a move here or just make a roll to kind of avoid being identified?
I do have human faces, but I think I'll just do a regular.
Okay, fair enough.
We won't create any more NPCs this
That
session.
would be, yeah, that's funny. Just checking if you have any relevant conditions here. No, I don't think so. Yeah, this would be the veiled move with presence. What could go wrong here? Basically, she's gonna see right through, and obviously you're custodians. Create a moment for Lucas.
What stat am I rolling with?
Oh, presence.
Presence, yeah, that makes sense. Ooh, that's an 11.
Wow, okay. Um, yeah, with an 11, she kind of stops mid, villain monologue and then just taking in like, you have a child with you, like this is not adding up. And she's kind of like, um, yeah, all that about crime scenes. There's not a crime scene here. I just heard a report checking into it, but hey, little fellow, this camp's closed. Sorry to disappoint you. They don't really have any fun camping activities here. I would recommend you all try what was that new Happy Crunch Chew? No, there was some circus thing, right? What was the flyer? There's something and kind of gestures back to down the highway.
Well,
But
but wait a minute. What do they do at this camp? We drove all the way up here to find something for little Johnny. She like gives a little look to Lucas, like, don't say your real name. Um, looking for something for him to do for the summer. Um, you said camp's closed? What's going on up here?
it's I guess it's changing ownership. It's not open to the public. Um, Nothing for kids anyway. I think the owners are having a party. That's what the fuss was about. It must have got a noise complaint. People panicked. They thought there was something worse. Nothing to worry about. I would be on your way if I were you, though, because technically this is private property, and she will kind of turn into like, have fun at the bounce house, the mirror house, whatever it is, at
Can
the other
I
circus. Yeah,
try something here?
absolutely.
Can we say that in the part of the conversation with Mary and Lucas that we didn't see, she was in the grand tradition of our group of custodians, teaching him something that he doesn't or shouldn't know. And she was telling him about like pickpocketing and how like a kid like him, unassuming, could really be cleaning up out here if he wanted to. So Merriweather is going to try to keep this person engaged, and sort of nudge Lucas, like, you can practice what we talked about.
Oh, nice. That sounds fun. Yeah, it's advantage, right? However we established that before. Um, I think that's like, I would say focus, but I mean, based on what you're already doing, can still be presence, whatever you want to do with advantage.
Sure, yeah. Either way, it's just a +1. So
Okay. Thanks.
okay, that's a 9.
Nice. Let's see. I will say, and I didn't say what kind of move it was. I think he'll be able to pickpocket an item, but there'll be something weird or complicated about it. I'll come back to that. Back to the rest at this wonderful woodland scene with old Noddy and all these sacrifices. I think, well, actually, while I'm still thinking about the clue here, Dr. Quick, Zeph, you're able to kind of catch up at this point if you want to, or do something else. The others aren't aware of you yet.
Could one of these fine, upstanding gentlemen be the side character who I, or rather my brother, has helped in a past life?
Oh, nice. That's fun.
That's wicked. I
forgot about that.
Nice.
Yeah. I haven't named either of them. I can give you a name, or you can tell us if you want.
By all means, give me a name.
Actually, it's a good name. This is Howard Baines, aka Twiggy. And I'm just gonna say, because I don't have a lot of actual ALD character descriptions here. This is the one you saw in the truck earlier. He's Hulk of a man with one arm. Yeah, muddy black jeans, black denim jacket, wired eyes beneath an exhausted face. Bags like open pit mines. As you've been kind of like keeping pace behind him, you get this impression of like could be a gentle giant, but casually slips some disturbingly violent references into conversation. And he's, as you kind of are recognizing him, he's speaking to Bastion and just says like, well, she is a good god to have, all said. She makes life simple. And you look like you would be the sort to understand, kind of be on our level. When your fingertips are soaked in the brains of a stranger, she washes them and kind of like holds up some bloodied hands and kind of sniffs them. Just this gross guy and says, oh, that reminds me, they should be cooking food in the Great Hall pretty soon if you're hungry. And kind of, yeah, trying to get a rise out of Bastion here. But also Dr. Quick, feel free to intervene.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. As Dr. Quick doesn't actually recognize Baines, maybe kind of Baines glances back towards the Great Hall when he says it, and then sees who he think is Edmund Quick. Who,
oh, nice. Yeah.
I meant to describe how he was helped. Unless the arm is being saved for something exciting and secret, I think it's an obvious
There's
thing
nothing I
that
know of. Yeah.
he had a successful surgical operation. So maybe he comes forward and gives Dr. Quick a huge one-armed bear hug.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
I love this.
I do not like.
Oh yeah, he smells horrible.
Yes,
sure.
I'm Edmund Quick. Yes. You're welcome.
Saved me from bleeding out. I was lying there. This was just fractured, just blood everywhere, man. He sewed it up, kind of clean as, and he I think pulls back the sleeve to show off. I think he's even done some hand tattoos to try to go over, and it's horrible looking. It's like good as new, and good to see you. What a strange day. Like I'll miss the concert though. You should have been here last night. It was crazy.
Is that so, Twiggy? I see you've already met a dear friend of mine. I'm here with some colleagues in the area, and we were hoping to catch some music. So it's a real pity that there's no gig on.
It's like, oh, you're with this guy. Oh, we were just catching up, just giving him the tour, right? And kind of again awkwardly one arm thumps Bastion on the back.
Yeah, this is fascinating. He's going to kind of look towards the tree. Say, if you don't mind, and he kind of drains the last of his beer, shatters the bottle against the tree trunk, and is just going to cut the tip of his finger open and just draws a very crude B in blood on the tree trunk.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
What?
Oh, that's great. I think because I still owe you a clue here. Oh, this is weird. I think when you've thrown your beer bottle, and it smashes as you're going up, you're making the markings. You see another beer bottle that is kind of like fallen in the roots of the tree that is not broken. It is a beer bottle with a bird trapped inside. I'll leave that open-ended. If it's alive, if it's a skeleton of a bird, y'all can fill that in how you want to. Nice. And that, and they're so, John, was there anything else from that move that you get from, I can't remember, do they?
So I get either he warns us about a danger nearby, has a gift for us, or will assist us with a single task. And I think I'd like to kind of hold it with the third one in mind, that
Yeah.
maybe if it comes to some kind of
nice.
Violence, maybe he might be swayed to be on our side, or at least hesitate.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, you saved his life. I mean, absolutely.
He owes you one.
That's great.
One non-killing.
One survivor.
Yeah.
Only you, though.
Only one, yeah. I think at this point, y'all notice the bird cries. I think the background sort of shooting range has kind of quieted down a while back, but you hear erratic bird calls filling the canopy, and they're starting to get a bit louder, and you start to notice they're almost like chirping, chattering from one side, almost like one of them is like imitating gunfire and then chirping from the other side, and it sounds like from these bird songs, it sounds like they're at war with each other. And they say, yeah, they get a little crazier. It's probably our cue to head back out. We only really come here to do what must be done, to pay our respects. But we need to share these woods, and they will kind of turn and head back towards the camp. Before we kind of wrap up, let's get back to Merriweather real quick. You're able to steal an item here. From the pocket. For the sake of time, actually, let me just hold that. We'll come back to that. An item with some weird complication. And if we have a few more minutes, we'll do end of session and then stars and wishes. So end of session questions. We didn't resolve any assignments, but if you just want to go across and answer, just tell us how you feel you did on your end of session questions. Starting with Bastion.
I believe you're muted, David.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking.
Sorry about that. Yes, sorry, yeah, I think I forgot to actually set up my questions at the beginning of this session, but that is fine.
If you want to think about it, we can come back to you if you want.
No, it's good. So I think, yes, I did engage with a god, angel, or other divine manifestation in the form of the old Notty there.
So your own blood on it.
Indeed. I didn't deliver a monologue particularly, I don't feel like today. I struggle with my personal faith. I feel like yes, to an extent, in the sense that kind of his opening his dream in the at the beginning of the session, it kind of demonstrated kind of what he's giving up in service to the Cairn Maiden.
Yeah, love that. And I mean, I feel like also with having this child accompany you, and I just feel like that situation was interesting with that too. Great. Dr. Quick.
Okay, I promise I won't abuse this, but I think my journey scene kind of got all three. Sure. So engaging with a divine manifestation in Edmund, struggling with his personal faith in terms of what you do when someone is suffering too much,
Mm.
and being vulnerable with his brother. So I'd say 3.
Nice. Yeah. Stacked it in one scene. Zeph.
I think conversely, I almost did none of them. Other than I think maybe engaging with a god because I was like listening to the Saint Electric on the radio, if that counts in my journey scene.
Sure.
That would be probably the only one I
Yep.
think.
Oh, turn health. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because I don't think I did not monologue,
Mhm.
and I don't think anything I did really usurped the order of my like superior. I didn't like really ignore them or undermine them.
I mean, is taking Lucas along an ongoing? I don't know.
It
Y'all have been doing a lot.
How many
with that.
times do we get to count him as that?
Oh, and have you? I don't know.
Well, we haven't counted him at all, but I was like, is that
I say it would count.
count?
I mean, it's an ongoing. It's stuff you did that session. Yeah.
All right?
If you want?
Hell
Take
yeah, I'll
that.
count it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be mad.
I would have also said the fact that you said to Dr. Quick the fact that if things look too dangerous here, you just run is kind of putting yourself above the mission. But yeah.
Mhm.
This is the usual MO.
Yeah. Right on. And then Merriweather, what about you?
She did engage with the god or other divine manifestation a few times, really.
Mhm.
I think she did sort of deliver a monologue about the futility of individual choices in the face of indifferent powers.
Mhm.
And you tell me if you count this, Gabriel, but like I feel like the personal assignment, even though it's not really
Yeah.
like against the aims of biased, I feel like it's not really on their radar and it's mostly Merriweather's thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could have just like gone on with the other custodians. Like you went back and got involved at WEF. Like you're kind of pursuing your personal interests for sure. Makes sense. And make a note of that. I think have we said you found like 3 clues on that at this point?
Unless I missed one, I think I have 2. I'm keeping
2.
track of them in the notes
Okay.
section of Merriweather's sheet.
Sounds good. Awesome. We're kind of pushing the time, but let's do stars and wishes real quick if folks have a minute or two more. I'll just say stars to getting to play with this group again. I love it so much. It's always a delight. Um, your verses are always incredible. They're just these standalone episodes that I just really, really love getting to take in. Stars for the ongoing custodian dads and like the parenting conversations that are happening are amazing with John and B. So much fun. And I just love continuing to see how both Bastion and Merriweather, we're just getting this really, really strong sense of their faiths, their conflicted faiths, but the really unique ways that causes them to approach the world. And it just always makes so much sense, like when we see them doing these strange, dangerous things, just going it alone, but like it just instantly like shows me more about the theme of those gods, and I really enjoy that. Yeah, I'll pass it on to the rest of you.
Well, I'm going to instantly jump on this because John, that scene with your brother, holy shit, I have been dying for you to get to like whatever you were building to, and that payoff was so good, so delicious. I loved it. It was just absolutely astounding, and I really also I do love getting to like I guess parent this child with like it's very with you. It's very that's a very fun role playing prompt every time. It's entertains me how much Dr. Quick is like, Jesus Christ, don't please God, please be normal, everyone, to this child who just sort of agreed to go along with 4 strange adults. So I really do appreciate that. Elle, and your like it wasn't a journey scene, it was a flat like the verse with like all the different versions of Merriweather. That was killer. That was so cool. I love how you do that. I also love how you weave in sort of that same monologuing concept into her whole thing, like looking at the camera and saying you're going to rework that line is very funny. That's very good. It always feels so on brand. Teaching the child to pickpocket and offering him a cigarette. Like, that's very funny. I really love her. I really love how willing you are to make up complete whole ass people to be. You really go hard on that as like that being the gods concept, and I really love it every single time. Bastion, I love how instantly you are willing to go off by yourself and just talk to the guy's head. That's a really cool move. It feels so right for this guy to be so casual about it. It really, really works every single time. And I really also I love the way you constantly engage with your God's concept, was echoing what Gabriel said. Like, it feels very salient that Bastion is a follower of the Cairn Maiden all the time, 24/7. And it feels very organic in the moment. And also putting your initial in blood on the tree is very punk rock. That was a good move for this whole scene. Yes, I'm very excited to see how we all handle this assignment. I love, yeah, and stars for the assignment. Mike Martins, you said, wrote it, right? Yeah. Stars for Mike. This is a really cool, very divisive assignment. I like one where we have to pick sides. That's very fun. And I'm excited to see where this goes.
With really high stakes too. Like
super high stakes.
Cool. Yeah.
Love it. Very into this.
I definitely also wanted to give stars for the parenting moments between Zeph and Dr. Quick were just so much fun. Loved that a lot. I also I really liked that moment when Merriweather emerged from the woods after escaping the facility. Was just that portrayal of her was so good. I loved that. I loved that a lot. It was just a really great moment. I really enjoyed that. Gabriel, I really like the real, like, and I think it's quite interesting as well, because like in some ways it's like maybe not as like existentially threatening as some of the threats that we faced, kind of thing, in terms of like deific influence and all that, but just the sense of menace at this campground is just amazing. Yeah.
I think just a few specific things. In general, I loved how I've interacted with Lucas. I could bicker with you forever. You were such a great kind of like bickering scene partner.
Same
and the kind
to
of
you,
like
absolutely.
the hissing is so much fun. But I also loved Bastion playing in the trees with the skull and this little boy. And then Elle in particular, I really loved that little detail of saying, this isn't a family, right? Um, anger inducing and so wrong though it was. It's completely right for the character. Of course, this kid can't just stay with two surrogate dads in a van having adventures forever. Like, the comedy is going to turn bittersweet, and I think that set it up so well. What is inevitably going to have to happen at some point with Lucas. I just thought it was a wonderful moment. Gabriel in general really loved all of your keepering as ever. I guess it's not a wish so much as maybe like a little bit of excitement. Elle setting up the carnival poster, because I know that you've got an assignment which might still be to draft to use. I don't know if it's kind of ready to use, but you do have that carnival assignment, don't you? So I don't know if that was serendipity for something that might turn up next.
I had not been thinking of it, but then when she was talking about a flyer, then I was like, oh yeah, that exists. So I mean, who's to say that could nudge me in that direction? That's a whole other thing. Yeah. Also, I would add just stars to seeing all the different moves, both assignment moves and playbook moves. It's cool later in the campaign just to see how many like unique ways you all get to just mess with the world. in really powerful ways. So always enjoyed that. Any other stars or wishes?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick.
Sorry, I did not mean to.
No, no
conscious
worries.
time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Zeph and Dr. Quick continue to be my favorite odd couple. I loved all of their scenes today and always. B, I really loved how, like, I feel like in every paint the scene the session, you were like, how can we take this to 100 immediately? I really appreciate that about you. That's fantastic. Um, for David slash Bastion, I loved you teaching Lucas that he should always pick up hitchhikers. It's really fun for me to see like the various ways the custodians are very bad influences on him. It's a very funny running joke. Um, I also loved, it was a small moment, but Bastion's very elaborate order at what was the place called? Vagabonds, where he's like, yeah, I want that hot dog and those pills, and it's great. Um, yeah, for John, the whole scene with the Edmund reveal was amazing. Like star, 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 star. Um, and Gabriel, yeah, I thought the pacing was really good, especially good this session, and also the way that you sort of ran with people doing things that are sort of um, perpendicular to the actual assignments and the things that you're looking at on your sheets. I thought you did that really well, and just like let us be do our stupid, ridiculous things, and you know, validating those choices is awesome.
Oh yeah. No, it helps me, inspires me to do the same. So I always love the unexpected directions we can run in for sure.
Seconding that, I just wanted to second what you just said, Elle, about Gabriel stuff. Thank you for encouraging our absolute nonsense and making it feel very real in the world, and letting us keep a 10-year-old you like have to keep role playing because we've kept him. Thank you. It's fabulous.
No, he's a basically a honorary custodian now. I could not roll with that. Yeah, it's no, it is an absolute delight because then I get to watch you all continue to be bad, good influences. So enjoying every minute. I know it's getting late for some of you all, so I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thanks so much, and catch you all next time.
Yeah, see you
Everyone have a good
later.
night.
Take care.
All right, bye.